Monday morning cracks. What's up, everybody? It is the Runner and Gunner show. Runner is in the head right now, getting some business done, while Gunner gives you the secret sideshow gun down. We're just going to listen to a couple seconds of song and have a sip. I cracked this one before the show started, so why don't you go ahead and crack yourself some coffee, get yourself a couple crunches of toast, and whatever cornbread that you're eating. Settle down, put your hands on the steering wheel, and focus on driving while you listen to the Runner and Gunner show. All right, everybody.
So
it is Monday morning.
It's Wednesday.
Oh, it is.
We are
Wednesday.
in the Wednesday hump of the day. I just got out of the freaking head, and I was getting
Runner is back, everybody, and so
ready
we're
for
go
the
ahead
show.
And start the show, which we're going to start with a little thing that everybody is thinking about, and that is the rain. Have you ever seen it?
Well, coming down on a sunny day, not too many people have.
California.
But I could say, I, for one, have. Shout goes out to Credence, John Fogerty.
John Fogerty is brother.
And everybody's brother and his, the Credence.
Little Fogerty.
Little Fogerty and all the Fogertys. The whole Fogerty family, man. We love you guys. Thank you for this creation.
Thank you, Fogertys.
Yeah. John Fogerty is going to be speaking of John Fogerty, he's going to be at the Los Angeles County Fair this year. Yeah, this year. We got to go.
You better go see him, everybody.
We better go see him, actually.
Oh, we're going to see him.
We're going. Me and Gunner are going. The tickets are already for sale. He's going to be at the LA County Fair, which is located in the city of Pomona. If you don't know where Pomona is, just take the 60 or the 10, preferably the 10 freeway, all the way down to Fairplex. And once you get to Fairplex, you'll be right there. So go to LA County Fair this year. I don't know the dates exactly, but John Fogerty is going to be performing all his greatest.
It's in July now, right?
It starts in May, I think. No, wait.
Yeah, May, right?
Yeah,
it's in May now.
May. It starts in May because before it used to be in the summer, and the summer is too hot.
Oh, the Corona changed it. But yeah, that's true. It was too hot. It was fun.
You know what sucks though? They actually stopped horse racing. I don't know about everybody else, but I used to love going there for the horse races.
Pomona track doesn't do horse races no more.
Not anymore. The Fairplex track, yeah. Pomona Fairplex.
What's the point of having a track? Might as well demolish it now.
I don't know what they're doing with it. But you want to know what's cool? I was there. This is the true story. I was there the last day of the racing. I went there. I had to go. And so I was there, and I had a few people with me, and there's witnesses with me. So the last race of the last track of the last fair to ever host a track in the Pomona Fair, I was there.
Oh, cool.
During the last race, I won. The last race ever.
Everybody out there.
True story.
I bet you're wondering,
winning ticket, baby.
What the heck are Runner and Gunner doing with the new show on Wednesday?
I
bet you're wondering, this isn't a regular Monday morning show.
Yeah, this is Wednesday, man.
This is Wednesday, and it's a little different already. I don't know why, but it is. Because the reason is that this is a new show. We're going to do we got a new web provider, podcast provider.
Yep.
So we're going to be starting a Wednesday show as well.
But I mean, we've always had the Wednesday show, but we just wouldn't let it go out. There was a lot of weird stuff. It was a little bit crazy. It was a little. Sometimes they wouldn't let us release them because of the issues that we were talking about. So
this is the super
duper good. Man, we could talk about looser things, and then we'd usually talk about on the Monday show because the producers let us go wild a little bit more. And so it's cool.
We could say things on the Wednesday show like Michael Jackson is canceled.
Yep. Or we could say R. Kelly is getting raped in jail.
We could say that. Anyways,
Things like that.
we're just going to talk about what we like.
So
And the things that we do like on this episode,
this is strictly about
rock and roll. Like Tommy Lee said,
Don't get it confused
I'm
with Rolling
hot
Rock.
for teacher.
Rock and roll.
The rock teacher, that is.
Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones did not say that, but,
Yeah.
but pretty close. Maybe Tommy Lee.
Yes.
I mean,
Tommy Lee. That's who he was.
No, it was Van Halen. But anyways,
All right, everybody.
we are here.
I don't know if you saw
We're
the Monday morning show, but the Monday morning show, we were talking about how we are going to get into rock and roll
rock and roll.
in this next coming
So
season.
this is
So
the
we'll
continuous.
reiterate.
Yeah.
Season 6,
Season
rock and
6
roll.
is coming.
Runner and Gunner.
And you guys better
Coming
watch out
soon.
because in season 6 we're gonna have running the streets. We're gonna have interviews live. We're gonna
More
have
media.
We're gonna have more media, more followers, guaranteed, and we're gonna have more freaking equipment just to make us sound better. Our quality is gonna be better. It's gonna crack. Everything's gonna go down, and it's gonna become the humongous explosion of nuclear war
We are going to have
upon the podcast. That's what we are.
mailing lists where we are going to bombard you
We're gonna bombard
with
you.
some Runner and Gunner advertisements. And it's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. And we're going to be, that's what I was saying. We're like the atomic bomb of podcasts. We're just waiting to land. You know, we're up in the air.
All right, everybody.
once we land,
it is rainy.
beware.
It is pouring, cats and dogs.
Woo! Dogs and cats.
It is the middle of the week. It is hump day. So go home and tell
Get
your
your hump
wives,
on.
I love you. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week. We know that
Sure
you got to
that.
get to the end of the week so you can have your weekend.
Yeah.
But even if your job is fun, you know that weekend is still sweet. So let's just sit back and listen to a few seconds of Creedence Clearwater
Yep.
before we get into the rock and roll episode on the Wednesday edition
The Wednesday
of
edition
the Runner and Gunner
Runner and Gunner Show
podcast. Runner and Gunner podcast.
The Runner and Gunner podcast is going to kick your grass. And don't forget, the best thing about the podcast is that we are real, we're ourselves, and we have a variety of things to talk about. We could tell you about, we don't just stick to one stupid subject and just be morons about the subject, because we're geniuses in every subject anyway you want to ask. So feel free to ask us about anything, whether it's psychology, freaking futuristic, Nostradamus, whether it's physics, whether it's money, financial problems, financial security, whether it's oceanography, sonography, geography, biology, anything
All right,
you want to
everybody.
know about, we got it, and we know what's up. So watch the Running Gunner Show anytime you want. This is the Wednesday edition. We are going here to just kick your butts and just let you know we know about rock and roll.
What other radio podcast show do you know that is playing rock and roll?
Rock and roll.
Licensed music.
Rolling.
You know how we get away with it? Well, you know, that's why we provide you the show.
Because
you don't worry
free.
about that. You just listen to it. We'll worry about that. We're playing rock and roll for you, everybody.
Roll
This
with
is
the rock.
golden music. It's like chunks of gold mineral in the earth.
Yeah.
Runner and Gunner pulled it out of the earth. We mined it for you. Put it into a beautiful little wristwatch called the Runner and Gunner Show.
The Running Gunner Show.
And we are providing it to you for some money, for some, a trade. And we are giving you this great thing on earth that is called the podcast radio show.
Podcast radio show.
And it's soon becoming a TV show, much like the Dean Martin show, much like variety shows in the 70s.
Yeah.
Where we just come out, we interview people, we have fun, have a couple of smokes, have a couple beers,
couple daiquiris,
and just have a good time and, get along with our brothers and sisters of the world.
Yeah, just show nothing but love, and there's no hate on here. There's nothing like saying, hey, you suck, let's fight over who sucks more. No, we're not about to
For
suck
real.
more, because we don't suck. And if you don't suck, then, you go ahead and drive your trucks. That's what we're saying. Drive your mental brains into creativity, or become cool and stay who you are. Either way, we're just telling you guys to stay cool and be cool, because that's the reason we are here.
Suck. We lick.
And that's why we drop the good licks like this.
All right, everybody, but do you remember this version
I do. I, for one,
Yeah.
do. If you guys do, let us know.
Rock and roll,
From the
baby.
beginning.
This is the Weird Al Yankovic version
Yeah, this is the one where he has marbles in his mouth.
of the Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit hit, which, in my honest opinion, was the last rock and roll song to ever be invented.
Wow. See, that could be that's a
That
great,
could be debated, of course.
Yeah, that could be debated. That's close because this is only 92.
92, 91.
92, 91. Well, because Nirvana, he probably came out about 6 months after Smell the Teen Spirit, so it's probably borderline 92, something like that.
I could see Lennon singing that song.
Hello,
Yoko Ono.
I could
Sean
see
Lennon, my baby boy.
Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Paul McCartney. Yeah. I could see Lennon singing that song.
Ringo.
I think that's the last song. We're going to get into it. Gunner believes that is the last rock and roll song ever recorded, created, invented, and number one hit.
I would have to decline because to me,
before you get into it,
my last
hold on, we'll save it. We got to save it.
All right.
We're gonna get into runners, but we just want to tell you the overall gist of where we're going with the show. It's a rock and roll show.
Rock and roll, baby.
Where we talk about video games a lot.
Not Rolling Rock, not to be
like Def Jam Fight for New York, which we just completed.
That's a different show, though. That's a whole different show.
A whole different subject.
But you're right. Keep on. Yeah.
We're talking about rock and roll here, and we're going to go back to the basics of rock and roll.
So you want to take it how far?
Let's go.
How basic and how far are
any
we going?
time period, but basic, like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
You're talking about 91? Oh man, there was so much going on. We had Metallica.
If you say rock and roll, let me do a little thing. If we say rock and roll and play this for you, would you agree? You might agree.
Audience? Of course you're asking audience.
You might agree.
Some of them might, some of them might not. That's exactly. That's might. It's called you might agree.
But it was also a time period which this song came before that other song. This is also at the last.
Are you talking about Enter Sandman?
Of rock and roll. Because, and I even dissected both these songs, they are rock and roll. This song is just E to A. E, E, A, E, E, A, A.
But at the same time, the way they did it, they made it so dark and so new age at the time. They made it dark and new age at the time. They changed it.
Much like the Beatles.
But the Beatles
changed Elvis.
But the Beatles changed the world. So we can't compare that to the Beatles. Of course not.
That's a whole different of the Beatles that we have.
That's a whole different thing. Yeah.
After the Beatles.
Kind of. Yeah. Pretty much.
The last tweak, at least. The last tweak.
Maybe the last.
Maybe
tweak.
Not the only tweak.
It's not the only. There's tons.
You're right. Look at Depeche Mode.
Even if you look up My Sharona, that's a perfect example.
Personal.
Jesus, yeah.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's rock and roll. And that came out in the late 80s. That came out in the 80s.
Reach out to me.
Yeah, they came out in the late 80s as well. So there's so many.
Rock and roll is R&B, and R&B is rock and roll, and jazz is rock and roll, but jazz is also sucks. But rock and roll doesn't. It takes
rock and roll does not suck. They take jazz to another platform.
It takes everything that jazz provides and it makes it its own.
Yeah, it platforms it. That's what it does. It platforms it. And
classical music too, because what about the song that goes, "Lovely Rita, Rita maid."
Man, I'm a fan of this song.
How rock and roll is this song?
This is
and it's classical. They took
John
Beethoven.
Lennon actually did not like this song. He wasn't a fan.
He wrote it.
I know he did. He wrote it, but he likes like sometimes you do a thing and then you later on you realize, hey, I don't like it. But Lennon actually loved this at the point when he was doing it, so it doesn't matter. Whoa! So this is McCartney.
This is Beethoven. This is my favorite part right here. Little piano solo that
Rita
either Paul McCartney or George Martin did. There it is.
Yeah. The classic piano. He did a classic, throw a little classic, just like In My Life. It was similar to a song called In My Life, the classic piano. That was the same exact piano that they threw in a song called In My Life. And
the point is that
it was just
rock
a
and
little
roll
longer.
Does take what classical music Beethoven,
yes, they
Mozart
do, and
provided,
they also
and they incorporated it,
and they also put in orchestra, which was after
orchestra, exactly.
Yeah, orchestra was after.
So rock and roll is like an accumulation of every single genre of music ever.
Put into one.
Rap is rap, hip hop's hip hop. You know, R&B is R&B.
That is also, but
jazz is jazz.
Yeah.
You know, rock is also just rock. You could have rock without the roll.
Branches out. Rock branches out to
hard rock, heavy metal,
death metal. You know, it
death
branches
metal,
out. It branches out.
Anarchy.
Yeah, see, it branches out to many different areas. But when you say the word rock and roll, that means a whole different thing. That rock and roll is the creator. It's the creator of the whole fabric
phrase. It's the full fabric
of music.
It's got its own thing, and you know, it's got the chords, it's got the chord progression.
It's the chord progression.
Got the rhythm.
It's got the rhythm.
It's got the soul, and it's got the feeling.
And don't forget about the rhyme. The writers, and a lot of people did not write their own songs at the time, but even though they didn't write their own songs, a lot of them still knew how to create it
correctly. A man who wrote his own songs. His name was Big Chubby.
Chubby, and he liked to wear shirts that were squared, so they would call him
Chubby Checker.
Twist again, man.
Come on, hip hoppers.
Yeah, this is like the Biggie Smalls of
He's
1959.
Black.
I know.
And he's
Get down with
way better than any hip hop artist ever.
Maybe not Biggie Smalls, but
maybe not Dr.
He
Dre.
is, yeah, maybe not, but still.
Maybe not Snoop Dogg either. Well,
maybe not Tupac.
Maybe just barely better than Snoop Dogg.
But not better than Biggie Smalls.
Snoop Dogg don't play instruments. And that's another point, is that you got to play your own instrument to be rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
If you're just a lead singer like Jim Morrison, Jim Morrison without the Doors is not a rock and roller. He's a poet.
Which is really cool.
However,
he's really cool.
Freaking rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how it happened. He is rock and
roll.
roll.
But you know what? If Jim Morrison did not meet all the Doors members, he would have went with somebody else and just created the same greatness that he created on his own. So either way,
would he have?
Yes, he would have. I think, I don't know if you agree, but I think that he would have just went on to still be one of the greatest poets, rock and rollists that we know today. Whoa. Even though the Doors are amazing.
Very bold statement you said that.
I think so. I think so. Everybody's going to disagree. I don't care, because I really think that
I love Jim
Morrison is that creative and that talented that he could have taken it to that
But you're
level.
saying that no matter what, Jim Morrison would have been rock and roll.
Yeah.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Cool.
Hands down.
Makes me like Jim Morrison even more. What about John Fogerty? What happened to him?
Oh, John Fogerty could play any instrument you want. John Fogerty could play anything from the lead guitar to the lead drum to the lead flute to the lead
What about
bass.
Jimmy Page? What happened to Jimmy Page?
Jimmy Page could only play one instrument.
How come he
could kick butts?
So influenced by the people around him.
Jimmy Page.
That he played for it, that he became them.
Well, one of the main reasons is because
Elton John, John Lennon,
Jimmy Page played with John Lennon, and that made him so great. And Insta Karma, Jimmy Page was there with Lennon, and so that's
Hermits. He did Hermits. Mm-hmm. People don't know this, but you know.
Yeah, he got down with Hermits.
Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, and old boy the drummer, John,
boy, whatever his name, yeah.
John Paul Jones.
Rest his soul. Yeah.
John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page were session musicians in the 60s before Led Zeppelin. The first Led Zeppelin album came out in 70 or 71. I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan, so you got me.
I think before 71.
It's not.
I said before 71.
It's 71? Do you think it's 74?
70. I said before 71.
We'll talk about it.
70. But that's another episode.
But what happened was Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones.
Wait a minute. Jimmy Page is not a session musician. You know why? He played with the super band. But he did session, but he did play with the super band with Eric Clapton.
The new Yardbirds.
Yeah. So he actually played with the super band with Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, and a couple other guys that were awesome. So what was it called?
Wow. So
Heart Full of Soul. Who sings the name? The Heart Full of Soul. Producers.
So we got Led Zeppelin. We got the New Yardbirds. We got Just Jimmy Page.
It is the New Yardbirds.
We got John Paul Jones.
And see, this is not even the tip of the iceberg. This is the beginning. We haven't even brought up the name called Jimmy Page. We haven't even brought up Mr. Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page, to me, is my personal favorite guitarist of all time. And there are many reasons why. Because he's amazing is the first reason. The second reason is because he's the greatest. The third reason is because
the producer
he could shred
something. The bassist is John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The drummer is John Bonham.
There we go. And that's the guy, John Bonham.
John Bonham and Jimmy Page, they were session musicians in the 60s to the rock and rollers of the 60s. So, like, there was a progression, there was, like, the handing of the torch. The Hollies and the Herman's Hermits and the Beatles, they gave young Led Zeppelin, because they were born younger, they were younger.
Yeah, of course.
They gave them the torch to do rock and roll in the 70s.
Yep.
Led Zeppelin, as much as Gunnar hates them, I will admit
Runner's a fan.
that they were rock and roll and they stayed rock and roll the entire time.
Yes, they did.
They did not change the rock and roll.
They didn't change. They changed the game. They did many things called. Stairway to Heaven to me is not the greatest one, but everybody, when you hear the word Led Zeppelin, everybody thinks about Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway, that's everyone's favorite.
I love that song, but I'm not like crazy about it like everybody else. It's not my favorite Zeppelin song, but I mean, I do love it.
All of my love,
which is cool.
All of my love,
which is cool.
You.
And
so what happened to Led Zeppelin?
My favorite song is "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." It's a very hidden song. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's really cool.
What happened to them?
They just eventually. Well, of course, the drummer, had a tragic issue.
Exactly what happened.
And then after the drummer had a tragic issue,
they said that
everybody had to go their own ways.
Yeah,
everybody had to go their own ways. So Page had to do this, and then
Page said it,
and Plant had to do that. So
because Page was, he was the band. He got to control it.
Well, Robert Plant too, though. He was the voice.
Robert Plant was the voice, though. He was the pretty boy, the image.
He was, the
Jimmy Page made all the
ladies were nuts, but Jimmy Page was the master.
So what happened was John Bonham, old boy, drank himself to death after 40 shots of tequila.
So sad.
And that's after years and years of drinking 40 nights of tequila.
And he was young too.
40 nights of tequila.
Kid.
Yeah, he had 40 nights of tequila.
Young guy, young man, but I mean, it happens to the best of us. If you're that young, and
30 years old,
and if you think you're not, you're indestructible. Yeah, you think you can't be destroyed.
You can.
Anything can destroy you. Anything. If you do it too much.
A rock.
Anything.
A rock could destroy
anything could destroy you. Anything. If you do it too many times, if you do rock and roll every single night, all night, and you don't sleep, that will destroy you. But
you know what will be good though?
It will be good
if you stay sober every single night of your life. If you stay healthy, if you do the correct things, if you're righteous, if you got good judgment every single night, you could do those forever. There's no limit to how much good you could have.
It sounds like a boring night to me.
Drinking 40 tequilas
sounds boring to me.
Drinking 40 tequilas every night.
I couldn't do it. Can you do it? Can you every single night
be awesome?
No, I could do that. I mean, that's already done for me.
I can do it.
To me, being awesome is already a natural occurrence.
So there you go.
So I mean,
you can do anything you put your mind to.
But to stay sober, I mean not sober, but to eat healthy, so you're saying vegan and no meat.
No, I would not ever say
no
vegan.
Meat, no alcohol, no natural plants to smoke, no and all you do is just roam around and just say.
I guess I'm just
hello,
saying,
little girl.
If you didn't let any alcohol touch your lips,
I just let some.
That's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. I agree.
That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying that the point was that John Bonham died of alcohol
because he hit rock
80s.
bottom.
He got rock bottom.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Page said that I will vow to not ever release another Led Zeppelin album.
I vow for my revenge.
I vow for revenge of Mr.
Against
Death
alcohol
and his sickle of weed shedding. And I will never make another Led Zeppelin album again. So that was a big blow to rock and roll. A big blow to rock and roll.
Big blow.
And it happened in the same year John Lennon died.
We're going,
which was,
you know how many bands?
3 years after Elvis Presley died.
We're skipping so many bands in between, though. I mean, we're just talking about rock. I know we're talking about rock and roll.
Them some gist of what's going to happen.
We didn't even talk about the Stones. We didn't talk about the Animals. We did not talk about the, Herman's Hermits. We didn't talk about, there's so many out there. There's
so right now we're talking about
Redbone.
1980.
We didn't talk about, 1980. Okay.
1980.
Let's bring it all back. 1980. 1980.
Rock and roll, 1980. When Lennon died.
With all that brings me to is December 8th. And I hate that day because I don't hate that day. If it's your birthday, hey, I love you and happy birthday. But I'm just saying,
thank you.
1980 and December and
all I'm saying,
John Lennon is amazing.
Is Lennon died.
Yeah, thank you. Here we go.
Led Zeppelin broke up. Mm-hmm. Paul McCartney did release an album and it was very good, but that was before Lennon died.
It was very good. It was very good. It was the best album.
Good. It was the best album.
The best he ever did.
I'll crack to that.
And I will also crack to that. So cheers, Gunnar, to 1980. Okay, so the year 1980 is when
cheers, Runner, to our new rock and roll segment.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be pure rock and roll.
1980.
This has no order right now. This is just the gist.
I know we're going everywhere right now.
Experimental, as I call it.
Yeah.
Because we're studying to bring you the best content in existence. Rock and roll, just classic goodness, just all around goodness that is in already full circle, that has already run its course. Like the Beatles, every single album that the Beatles will ever put out is already out, and you can listen to it. Like if you were born
for free
in the 40s and you had to like listen to the Beatles progress, it would have been amazing. However, it's already said and done. So we could just go ahead on the internet and we could listen to the whole discography, the whole existence of the Beatles.
The whole existence.
For free.
For $0.
That means we don't have to listen to Cardi B. We don't have to listen to Black Eyed Peas before them. We don't have to listen to Beyonce before that. We don't have to listen to NSYNC before that. Because we have everything.
Everything ever.
Like every rock and roll song, every band, Nirvana, full circle, the full completion, the full discography is on the internet for absolutely nothing, which in the 90s, you had to pay a pretty penny to get that full collection.
All that, you got to collect them individually. So it'll take a long, long time.
And a lot of money.
Tons of money, tons of dollars.
So now that full collection is for free on the internet.
Yeah. YouTube.
And all you got to do is type it in with your
Spotify,
little chubby fingers.
Pandora. It's all there. It's all there for you for free. And you don't pay no dollars, no cents, nothing.
So you don't.
All you have to do is have a phone and have Wi-Fi connection. That's it.
So you don't.
That's how easy it is
for Taylor Swift.
And if you don't have Wi-Fi connection at your house, you can go to McDonald's, order a coffee, and listen to music for free.
So you don't need to wait for Justin Bieber to.
Or you can go to McDonald's, listen to their playlists, and stay there all day. Pay 25 cents for a coffee.
Pick an album.
And get music for free.
Look, if you go and you try to go through Led Zeppelin's albums one by one, I think there's like 22.
Yeah, it'll take you hours.
In like 10 years, there's like 20 albums. Yeah. I don't know, something like that.
Very, very large amount.
That would take you just a matter of moments. I mean, you watch the Wednesday episodes.
Wednesday morning.
You watch freaking Stranger Things, 7 seasons of Stranger Things. I think you can give Led Zeppelin's discography a chance. Just put it on the radio when you're driving to work. Just put it in. Put it once. Filter that stuff in. Just let it in, analyze it with your soul and your thoughts. You're watching freaking 8 seasons of Yellowstone with a 70-year-old Kevin Costner.
Yep.
I think you can go back.
Yellowstone? Yellow.
Listen to some Led Zeppelin albums And again, I don't even like Zeppelin, but it's going to be a heck of a lot more beneficial to you than watching the Netflix new Marvel show.
And to bring it back to 1980, what we were talking about before, is that was a terrible year when John Lennon died. But Double Fantasy was the hugest album that had ever been released in the rock and roll industry. So rock and roll was still alive with that album. That album had so many hits and it was so amazing that people did not know what the heck they were listening to. They were like, whoa, did I just go into a time machine? Did somebody take me back to where I was when I was present as a teen? Or is this some new stuff that is setting a trend for the new era? And it really was a new trend for the new era because the new era was on. Speaking of it, this is part of the new era and this is what was going on at that time. So for you cats that were only 15, born in 1965, 63, 62, 60.
Everybody, we gotta go.
But yeah, we gotta go now.
Runner and Gunner Wednesday edition. We got a little deep, we got a little crazy, we got a little sipped.
We sure did.
We love you, and we're also going to get a little loving. So, just gussy up and listen to the Runner and Gunner show when we say,
we're serious.
We want you to do good.
All we want is for them. Yeah, we want them to have peace and love and just enjoy each other.
Sound soul and sound mind.
Just enjoy each other's presence, that, like, stop hating, stop the hate, just like Lennon used to say, stop the hate. Where is the love? Bring the love and stop the hate. Stop the hate and just
anything
be
with
cool with
any
each other.
Song with a cuss word in it, any song that's demeaning to you or anyone else with their words, any song that has like some kind of evil in it, put it away from you. Don't listen to it, because that is going to ultimately take over your mind, and you are going to become that. So you need to stop listening to it and go back in time and listen to the good stuff, the pure stuff that was recorded, because it's there for you for free. All you got to do is tippity type
it up,
biggity bangity boom.
So look at everybody. Everybody, we just want you to listen to the stuff that makes you feel good and feel good times. Whatever makes you feel good and have the greatest time of your life. Reminisce on that. What was your teenage years? What was your adult years? What was your childhood years? All that stuff. Listen to all that and just feel yourselves and feel good about yourselves. I'm saying just feel great and be great. Get that feeling and just say, hey, where did this childhood part start in me? Where did this great feeling begin? And start that great feeling to make you feel even larger than it was then, because you already knew at that young age that you were going to be that. That was your dream, and that is what you must complete. Complete the dream and just go with it. And that is the presence that we're talking about on the Runner Gunner Show.
The Runner Gunner Show.
Nothing but awesomeness.
It is the Wednesday show, and we're just talking about a little bit of rock and roll.
Rock and roll!
We're going to a new period in the Runner Gunner Show where we are going to make it primarily about rock and roll, since we know so much about it.
Yeah, we do.
Listen to every single album of rock and roll out there, and we want more, and it doesn't exist today.
Yep.
And it is, making us so upset that it doesn't exist today, but at the same time, it's a good thing because we can catch up on the stuff that we might have missed back in the day when we were trying to collect all these songs in our hearts and our minds.
In our hearts and our minds. You see, so you guys got to use your hearts and minds to realize that good music is good for you. So everything that's good for you.
We're going to do this right here, a little segment in the Wednesday edition, since we're all about the music, especially rock and roll. But don't get us wrong, we love hip-hop, we love modern music. Just the stuff on the billboards right now is very confused. And just forget about it. And poo-poo, there's a whole existence of music that exists. Just listen to that. Catch up on what you might have missed.
Yeah, just what we're telling you is to take it back. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be rock and roll. We're just suggesting rock and roll. But whatever takes you back to whatever started music for yourself and made you realize, like, whoa, music is amazing, then take it back to that era or that place. I'm sure that somebody had played some old stuff to you that was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Grandfather,
Take it back
a
to
neighbor.
that. Anybody who played some dope stuff to you before, and you just intake that.
You start digging into it.
That's when you first started listening, because you don't really listen. At the beginning, you just hear this stuff, and you're just like, okay, it sounds okay. But then you realize that music is more than just harmonizing, rhythmizing, and just beats and notes and all that stuff. It actually hits the soul. If you let it hit your soul and you let it take over your mind, then you know that it's something great and amazing that will take you to a better place and a better time. And that's why we are here to show you that rock and roll is what really started that whole pavement. They paved the ground, just like...
And that's why you should listen to rock and roll.
The best thing ever.
Because sound didn't exist for 500 billion, quadrillion, bazillion years.
For sure it didn't.
Unless the dinosaurs had Sony Walkman.
Did they, though?
And headphones.
I heard there was a rumor going around that their brains were as big as peanuts.
I did see that there was a fossilized set of earbuds.
On a dinosaur?
It could have been, fraudulent. But for hundreds of billions of years, recorded sound did not exist. But the elements were always there to do it.
Yep, they sure were.
In our lifetime, that existence isn't too far behind.
It is not.
So you as an individual, as a Lenny, who's trying not to be a Lenny anymore, who's trying to be a man, who's trying to get the ladies, who's trying to find a wife and knock her up, have kids, and teach your kids how to play baseball.
Yep.
As that kind of person, you're going to want to go back to the beginning of recorded sound.
Way back.
But you're going to want to stop at rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
And so we're just going to be talking about rock and roll. Nothing else. Clear everything we just said up until now. Rock and roll. You know Jay-Z? Where did he get that song from? Oh, this?
No, that was Kanye.
Who cares? Whatever. All right, everybody. We're going to let you go. But take care. You have a blessed Wednesday.
Everybody have a beautiful Wednesday. We love all you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Just for me. Oh yeah. She says loving early in the morning. Just for me. Oh yeah. She says loving just for me. Oh, she loves me so tenderly. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah.
Solid.
Runner Gunner, not responsible for any injuries, postponements, or collateral that may occur during or post segments of our entirety of the show. You are now or have been listening to. We would like to add any involvement with similar subjects in the show are completely coincidental and may or may not be facts. We would also like to thank you, Lennox.